Hey, y'all. Hey, good morning. Good morning, guys. Now listen, in this video, we are going to talk about a question that I got in the comments. And the question was, did I attribute or do I attribute my wealth, and that word is subjective, from the market, from investing in stocks, or from homes, investing in property? Okay, so I want to answer that question. But first, I want to catch up. I want to catch up. We haven't caught up in a long time, but let me say this. For those of you who came here just to get the answer to that question, I'm going to timestamp this for y'all. I'm going to timestamp this so you can just skip all of this chit-chat stuff and jump right to there. And for those of you who are my homies, who care about my life, who've been here from day one or got caught up from day one-ish, this is for you. This is for you. Okay, so I feel like we haven't talked in a long time. So we're on our way to work. As you know, it's daytime. Guys, I've been getting up. I've been setting my alarm and getting up around 4 in the morning. And so I've been getting out of this house before the light comes up. So I can't talk to you in the dark. And I've been getting in work. I've been doing great 10-hour days. And I've been coming home before the light went down. But clearly I still ain't get on the phone and talk to y'all. My bad. My bad. Where do we start? Let me say this. This morning I made my own coffee. Usually Jay makes the coffee in our house, but I made my own because honestly I am trying, well, I'm not trying, I am detoxing off of sugar right now because we're about to go on a vacation. And back before I met my beautiful man Jay, my routine would be anytime I would go on a vacation, before a vacation, I would get ready for the vacation. And getting ready for a vacation always looked like doing a detox. And for me, that just always worked. It kept my weight under control, and it kept my life hormones balanced. To me, since I got this guy, it's like party all the time. Y'all don't understand. Jay doesn't just eat. He celebrates. He's going to present. Like if he goes and gets crackers and cheese, let me insert a picture here. Because he did this for himself, not even me. This was his own little party. He done made himself a fake charcuterie board. Y'all, that is a wooden salad tosser. That ain't even a charcuterie board. He done balanced his cheese and crackers on a salad tosser. Let's hang up on this because I don't know. Wait, hold on. Hello? Oh, wait. Hello? Hmm? Guys, what's up with that? All right, first of all, let's digress. With the use of AI these days, honestly, I don't trust it because AI can get clips of your voice. Actually, they can just go online and pull my YouTube videos and do that, can't they? They can. But let's just say this. What's up with these random numbers that you don't know? You answer the phone, you say hello. Sometimes they may say something, but then they're waiting for you to talk some more. And then they'll just hang up. What are they doing? What's the purpose of that? That's why I was like, rather than giving them a real voice clip. I want to say yes. Barely want to say hello. So just drop down in the comments if you know what that's about. Okay, that's one. Or am I just being overly paranoid? Is it just a myth? Is it a myth? Is it harm? What's up with that? Okay, that's that. Okay. Back to the thing. So Jay balances his food on a salad tosser fork that I'm sure he just found in the cupboard somewhere. And then he took a chopstick, that's a chopstick, and made a olive skewer. And then he had his whole glass of wine. He does that for himself. So if he does that for himself, you know what he does for me. And matter of fact, when I came down there and see that he did that for himself, it just made everything look so good that I started eating cheese and crackers, and I wasn't even knowing that I was getting up to eat cheese and crackers. So I say that to say that I have not been detoxing per my routine that would keep me in check. So therefore I just been, yeah. So anyways, I made my own coffee this morning because this is a bullet coffee. I think it's called bullet coffee. So this is what I do. I do mushroom coffee. I have the Sigmatic, I think is the brand that I really love, the 4 Sigmatic. So I do the Think because I feel like it's going to give me mental clarity. And then sometimes I also have the one that's for like boosting your immune system, and sometimes I'll mix them, because what I'll do is 1 pack and a half of a pack. So a pack and a half into my cup. I do about, I guess, a tablespoon of grass-fed, unsalted butter. This sounds so weird, but it's so yummy. And then I do about a tablespoon of MCT oil that I got from the grocery store. Usually in the dietary section, you'll find that. And then I do about a cup and a half of hot water. So a cup is like 8 ounces. So that's like about 10 ounces of hot water. 10 to 12 ounces, actually. No, about 12 ounces of hot water. That's this. And then I use an immersion blender to blend it all up. And you have to kind of do it with an immersion blender, because y'all know water and oil really don't mix too well. But if you use that blender, it really mixes, okay? And then I pour it into this cup. So that's what this is. So no sugar needed. No sugar. This tastes so yummy. It's not sweet, but it has this beautiful, hearty taste. It's really good that you don't even need butter. I mean, you don't even need sugar. So that's what we're drinking on. And I believe the purpose of the MCT oil is it just really satiates you so that you don't feel hunger. You know, I don't know. It gives you something that you can feel so you won't feel hungry for a second, for, you know, for some hours or something. I don't know. Something to that effect. So that's what this is. I say that to say, no, I don't say that to say, but let's segue. We're going to segue. Friday is me and Jay's anniversary, y'all. 6-year anniversary. I believe it's 6 years. How do I know it's Friday? Because my baby called me yesterday to tell me, because he knows I don't remember. He knows I'm not going to remember. I just don't. I don't know why, but he remembers these kinds of things. So he told me that Friday is our anniversary, and he told me what we're doing. So he planned our Friday date for our anniversary. My man. And a lot of you were there when we got our man, because we had been single before we met Jay for 13 whole years. 13 years before I met my man. And when I met my man on Thanksgiving, so Thanksgiving that year was on the 22nd, I believe. When I met him on Thanksgiving, I had no idea. But guess what, guys? I have been doing a gratitude list, a daily gratitude practice for years. I believe it might be 10 years now. 10 years with my girlfriends. And I've had all iterations of these lists with different, I used to run groups of lists where I would have about 5 to 6 people per group, because I like the groups to be small and intimate. And I had several groups going that I would manage, and it was just a great practice. And then it was only supposed to be a 30-day practice. And at the end of the 30 days, so many people did not want to stop. They wanted to keep going, so we kept going. But then after a while, because this was all free, it wasn't paid, it wasn't nothing like that, it was all a free thing, it got a little much for me. So I said, hey, y'all, if y'all want to keep this list going, we can keep it going, but I'm going to combine all of y'all. All of y'all going to be on one list. Some people protested because, you know, they were comfortable in their group. They found a safe haven and a safe place in their group, which is understandable. And so, but I was like, well, I'm doing it anyway. And so therefore, if you don't want to, it's been great. Or you can start your own list. You know, you can start your own practice. But those who want to, this is what we're doing. And so, of course, naturally, that number dwindled, because let's be honest, a whole bunch of people on one list, writing a list every day, and then you read the list or whatever you do with your list, however you interact with your list, it gets to be a little much. So people naturally fell off. So this iteration, my latest iteration of the gratitude list, my gratitude sisters, I think it had been 6 of us for a while, and then our good friend Kim passed away, right? So then it was 5 of us for a while. And over the last year, our lists have become a little more hit or miss, meaning sometimes a person would do it, another day another person might do it, but it wasn't consistent. People weren't consistently doing the list. So this year, after the election, we made a recommitment to get focused, to get laser focused on gratitude and on manifesting what we want from our reality, regardless of what this world is doing. So honestly, Trump being elected president just really gave us this great inspiration. And so we decided to hone in on the list again, but not all of us decided to join the list. So now our gratitude list is down to 4 of us. And let me tell you guys, these lists have been the best list ever. We started this like maybe a few days after the election, which happens to be a few days after 2 of our gratitude sisters' birthdays. So it's just so appropriate that our year starts with the year of their births, right? Their birthdays. So it's a true new year for all of us. And y'all don't even understand. It's still November. And so many amazing things have happened already. And I can't even share them publicly with y'all yet. But I will. So yeah, I say that to say I met Jay during my gratitude practice thing. So to meet him on Thanksgiving Day, like how freaking appropriate, the day of gratitude. Met my man 6 years ago. We have been solid ever since. No, we're not married. And I'm okay with that. Honestly, I'm just okay because I don't necessarily buy into America's institutions. I don't. And you really do have to be careful about what belongs to you and what belongs to the world. What did the world package up and gave it to you and then said it was yours? And you're like, but you know what? This just don't feel like me. This doesn't feel like me. Get to the truth of what belongs to you, what truths belong to you, what belief system what belongs to you, what practices, what traditions belong to you. And they're not just yours because they've been passed down to you because of society, because of your family, because of religion, because of culture. So yeah. So I'm so happy. We are getting ready to go on vacation with the fam bam. So I've been getting ready for that. And it's kind of 2 vacations and 1 for Jay and I. The first vacation is 28 of my family members are taking a cruise for Thanksgiving. 28 of us. And so I was like, okay, what are we going to do on our excursion? Because it's a short cruise, right? Going to the Bahamas. It's a short cruise. So I found something yesterday as an option. And so I put it out to the group and all 28 people want to do it. So now I'm organizing that. I'm in the midst of organizing this thing for 28 people. So cool. Cool. If you guys have any suggestions for what we can do in the Bahamas, where we can eat in the Bahamas, things like that, please drop them down in the comments as well. Thank you so much. What else? Because as I was driving to my point where I stopped talking to y'all, because I turned the camera on after I drive for a while, this is why we couldn't just jump into the topic, because I had so many things I wanted to talk to you all about. Oh, I want to talk to you about this. So I mentioned gratitude list, and I mentioned how we re-sparked it after the election, right? So I do have a vlog about the whole election thing. For me, it's actually 2 videos. So one is going to be a vlog. And then the other video is going to be my thoughts and how I feel about the election and the election results. But that's going to be on the other channel. So if you're interested in that, please go over there. It's Fun and Budget Travels, formerly known as Sitting in a Tree. Okay, that's where we cover more of our travel stuff, more of our leading up to travel, our travel lifestyle. Because honestly, even when you're not traveling, every single day, especially for me, is leading up to travel. It's either me having to work extra at work so that I can have the time to take off to travel, or it's me planning for travel, or it's me detoxing for travel. It's every day. I live a travel lifestyle. And honestly, I have a day job because my day job affords me the flexibility and the financial flexibility to travel. So now that we mentioned financial flexibility and financial wherewithal to travel, let's jump into the topic. Okay, so somebody said, I believe, I might be using the word wrong. I believe they said wealth. They might not have said wealth. But let me just say that wealth is subjective. So again, let's restate the question. The question was, do I attribute my wealth, and I'm paraphrasing because we're doing this off of the brain. Do I attribute my wealth to investing in the market or to properties, owning properties? That was the question. Now, I want to clear up the word wealth because wealth is so subjective. Some of you can look at my net worth, and we're going to put an eye in the sky if you haven't seen one of my net worth videos, and you can say, no, she doing it all wrong. She calculating her car value. That's wrong. Some of you can say that, right? A car, which isn't making or breaking my net worth, believe me. Some of you are saying, well, she has her property in there. That's wrong. So either way you slice or dice it, there's going to be some people who don't give credit or find credit in my net worth. Some people are going to say, well, her net worth isn't liquid, so who cares? And honestly, your money shouldn't be liquid. So right now, if you call me to ask me to borrow money, I don't have it to give it to you because it's tied up. It's tied up in investments, okay? And that's the way it should be. You should have only, I would say, up to a year at most liquid, and that's for your emergency fund. Some of us may have a little more than that because there may be other things that's going on in our lives. Like maybe we know we're about to get laid off, or maybe we know we're about to jump out there and try our hand at being a full-time entrepreneur, and we're going to need a bigger cushion. Okay, maybe we have a bigger lifestyle, or maybe we have other people who depend on our income as well. So we may have a bigger cushion. That's up to you to determine, to look at your life, analyze your life, and determine what you need. I wonder what's down there. Okay. So let's get over here. Some of you may look at my net worth and say, that's all? $1 million ain't wealth. It ain't wealth. So some of y'all, but for me, it's all wealth. Y'all, I don't care if I had 100,000. If I had 50,000, it is wealth. It is my wealth because, guys, there was a time when seeing an electricity bill could break you down to tears. We just don't have it. Okay? I remember in my early days, I first used to start doing budgets around when I was 12 for my mother. Because I never understood why we just didn't have money for things such as a $4.99 African Pride perm. Real story. Hold on, I want more leveled ground. And so I was like, let me do her numbers because I'm sure that this is all due to mismanagement of funds. That's what I thought. So I started doing her budget, and what I realized really quick was there just wasn't enough income flowing into our lives for her to handle the outcome of what the bills required. I remember in doing her budget, I would be like, okay, here's the electricity bill. But guess what? We didn't have enough money. I'm 12, so I didn't have a job at that time. We didn't have enough money to pay the electricity bill and the gas bill. We just didn't. My mama had 4 kids. I was the oldest. We just didn't. She couldn't afford daycare. We just didn't. We just couldn't. There was nothing she could do. And in the budgets that I would do for my mother, it used to be, seriously, pay the electricity bill, put something on the gas bill next month. Pay the gas bill, put something on the electricity bill. But guess what? Because we were putting something on it, the balances were never paid off. It was always getting higher and higher and higher. But we were putting enough on it to keep the bills on, to keep the lights on, literally. So if there wasn't any money for gas and electricity, you know there was barely any money for food, because you know what we had to do. My mom got food stamps at the time. We had to sell some of those food stamps to help make ends meet. I know the struggle. I know the struggle. This is why can't nobody tell me nothing about what I get to count and what I don't get to count as my wealth, as my net worth, as my blessings. I count it all. I'm counting it all. Because there was a time when there literally wasn't anything tangible to count but each other, but our love, but our health, but our presence. And some people, some of you, don't even feel like you have that, right? Because you feel like you come from families that aren't so good, situations that aren't so good. You have health issues that aren't so good. And so you're saying, what is there to count? But there's always something to count. There's always something to count. Yeah, so we're going off on all the tangents. Timestamps. We're going to have timestamps. So, wealth. It is subjective, but I'm counting it all wealth. Okay? Counting it all. Period. My blessings are my blessings. I'm not going to downplay my blessings. I'm not. So, in the story, what do I attribute it to? I don't attribute it to having a property or investing in the market. I don't. Mainly because for a lot of you who rocked with me, and some of you may not even realize this, but I did not start investing fully in my 401k until I was 40. Until I started this channel. When I started this channel, it was to work up my mindset to be ready to do the thing. Because before that, I felt like I needed my money. I felt like I didn't have enough. Okay, I don't know where this thing cut off. But before starting this channel, I felt like I didn't have enough to invest extra. I felt like I needed every single penny that I brought into my life. I had to work up my mentality to do something different. That's what the purpose of starting this channel was for me. And it worked. So at the time, I feel like maybe I invested 1%, 2%. But honestly, even when I bought the house that I live in right now, I had wiped out my 401k to get money to use for my down payments and all that stuff for the house. I did all of the things you're not supposed to do because I was not financially educated. I was financially okay, right? I knew not to carry a bunch of debt. I knew to save some money, but I was not educated in the ways of, should you pull all of your money from your 401k? Yeah, there's going to be a penalty, but guess what? I can use this money now for something else. So that's what I did. So I say that to say that even when we look at my savings and my investments, that journey started at 40. Okay. I'm now 48. When we look at property, I never purchased property because I was strategically thinking about building wealth. I didn't. I purchased property because I needed someplace to live. I needed someplace to live. I first bought my first house when I was in the military. I was getting out the military, actually. I'm a risk taker. I do believe in some forms of risk, but it's a whole lot that goes into that, right? I don't just be taking risks for the sake of risk. I was getting out of the military. And in my mind, I said, hey, if I'm going to buy a house, now is going to be the time because it's going to look like I have a job. Because I still have my, what are they called? LESs, leave earning statements. So I still have my LESs to look like I had a job. me being separated from the military is not a thing yet because it's still like a 30-day grace period. So I said, let me go and buy a house. And even buying that house was a journey of miracles because I didn't have a real estate agent. I had nothing. I would find houses on my own. I would try to call people. The houses will always be gone. And I'd be like, but it just showed on the internet or something. And they was like, no, you need to be on somebody's list. So then I got on somebody's list, found the house, asked him if he can come out and show me the house. He says, how much money you got in savings? I read How to Buy a House for Dummies, literally. I believe, remember the For Dummies series? I read that. And it told me, don't tell them. So I said, I don't want to share that information. So he says, well, I don't want to waste my time or yours. He threw in the or yours as an afterthought. And so he refused to come out to show me the house. And so I went out there anyway, and I'm peeking through windows. And as I'm peeking through windows and walking around the property, somebody went into the house with a key. And so I followed her and I said, hey, excuse me. I said, I don't have a real estate agent, but is it okay if I looked at this house since you got the door open? So she said, fine. I'm waiting for a client. And that was that. So I'm looking through the house. Her client came, literally went into the house and kind of looked and kind of went back out and was like, no. Now, mind you, this house was trash. It was dirty. The carpets were filthy. The walls looked like somebody threw jam all over the walls. All of this stuff. But I saw it and I knew. I saw past all of that. Past the appearances and knew that this was my house. And I asked her, I said, I don't have an agent, but I want to put in an offer. Can I do it through you? That's how I got that first house. The house that you see my tenant end up trashing, almost leaving it in a state worse, way worse than the state it was in when I found it. She returned it back to that state and then some. But it's okay because it still turned out to be my blessing. Because I was properly insured. My insurance handled that with all of the grace. My insurance handled that. So much so that by the time the house was finished in perfect timing, it was at the height of the pandemic market. Remember when prices of real estate had shot up because builders had stopped building and inventory was limited? My house was finished being refurbished and rehabbed at the height of that market so that when I sold it, I got top dollar and made way more money than my net worth ever showed, that my net worth ever reflected. My net worth for that property at its peak said that I had $6,000 in equity of that net worth based off of what I owed and what the property was worth, $6,000. When I sold that house, over $150,000 in profit. Stop playing with me. Stop. Now, I believe when I tell the story, I believe I say something like 120 or something because that was after fees and taxes and stuff. Stop playing with me. You don't know nothing about wealth. You don't know nothing. Whatever this net worth says that I have way more than that. Because I know about the wealth that God promises his children. I know about that wealth. That treasure chest that you may not see right here in the physical, right here, right now, but it does not mean it's there. And that's what I'm tapping into. Anytime you see something wonderful manifest in my physical reality, that's because it's coming out of that treasure chest that God already has stored up for me and he has stored up for you. The thing is, how do you tap into it? One of the ways I tap into it is through my practice of gratitude, because gratitude is a moving meditation. It is a prayer. It is. It's the way I talk to God. Through gratitude, not through complaints, not through woe is me, Lord, can you fix? But Lord, thank you. Thank you for this, and that. And guess what? When I focus on that, he gives me more to be thankful for. For real. For real. That's what I attribute this wealth to. Okay? Nothing else. Because nothing else makes sense. Nothing else makes sense. I am in a wonderful career. And y'all know we already had a video about how much I make. I in the sky. We have a video when I reveal how much I make. Guess what? Even that's old. Even that's old. I don't make that anymore. I make more now. Even that is the past. That is old. That is old. Okay? But there is no rhyme or reason why I make as much as I make. There's no rhyme or reason. Read the comments. Read the comments under that video where people will tell you developers make this. I'm not a developer. Developers make this amount. Read the comments. And everything that most of those people say are less than what I make. So they're trying to say it can't be true. It can't be true because I'm in that field or that industry and this is what we make. This is the cap. How is it that she makes what she makes? Because I do. I do. There's no rhyme or reason. But there's never been a rhyme or reason in my life. But you know what? Even when I was a little kid, I always felt like I was one of God's favorite children. And we all are, because God has a capacity that is infinite, that is beyond our comprehension, to love and to have favorites. So we're all his favorite children, but I felt that to my core. To my core. So I feel like all of this is a benefit, is a blessing that God has given to me. This is another reason why I was like, you know what? The election didn't go how I wanted it to go. But it did go how a lot of people wanted it to go. And that's okay. But I get to use that as a springboard to shore up my life, my blessing, my desires, and not get thrown off track because this world seems different than how I wanted it to be. Who am I? What do I know? Who are you? What do you know? Because some things, sometimes, the blessings you want comes through a path that is unlikely, unseemly, and seeming unwanted. Because God is creative. And sometimes he creatively shows up in ways that we would have never thought. But I can say that some of the things that I've been through led me to where I am right now. But at the time that I was going through it, I was like, why? But then at the end of the journey, it's like, I see what you did there. I see what you did there. So I think I answered the question. We went off on like 5,000 different tangents. But that's what I love. I love sitting here, having a little bit of time to have the conversation and kind of see where the conversation leads and takes us. Because honestly, it's always some lesson in it that was never my intention when I sat down to talk to you all. It comes out in the communication. It unfolds as we're talking. And I thank y'all for that. I thank y'all for allowing me that flexibility to just sit up here and have a conversation with y'all. But that's what it is. So that's what I say. I say the main thing, honestly, I didn't say it. I think the main thing that attributes to wealth building is stability. Having a stable job, having stable employment. A lot of times it may not even matter how much the employment is, it's the stability. Because I find that it's in between the jobs that you find your setbacks, that you find that you have to catch up, or you find that you're using more debt than is healthy because you have to make your ends meet. So it's usually in between those moments. So I say the first thing is do whatever you can to keep steady income flowing into your life. So even if you're in between jobs, find a way to take on some part-time jobs. Just keep bringing in something and apply that to your dreams, apply that to your future. That's the first thing. Steady income. Being gainfully employed. Right now, I know that there's a movement of quitting your job and being unemployed and quitting your 9-to-5, which is cute. And I do believe that nothing should supersede your mental health. It shouldn't. But sometimes we do have to get mentally tough. Sometimes we have to toughen up mentally. Sometimes we have to use things like gratitude and list of positive aspects to kind of help shift the perspective of our reality and where we're at until we find something else, until we find the next thing. Sometimes just walking away and quitting isn't always the answer. It isn't. Okay. Sometimes we have to just tough through a thing, get through a thing until we line up that next thing and keep our eye on the prize. Okay. That is the truth. A lot of you also know that what was it? Some months ago, I can't even remember. Some months ago, remember, I was not feeling my job. Not feeling it, not feeling the person I had to work under, none of that. But I did use gratitude and shifts of list of positive aspects to work through that time. And honestly, that person had been removed from interacting with us directly, which is what the biggest problem was. She was micromanaging. She had been removed because so many people had quit, had left. So it made work life a little better, a little easier. It made it better. It made it easier. Not a little, it did. So just know that I attribute it to that. I attribute it to not falling into the depths, not falling into the traps of debt, especially because I was using debt just to kind of fill an emotional hole, whether that was shopping sprees, just buying things that I really couldn't afford. But because there was a credit card available to me, because there was a loan available to me, I took that easy way out. And it builds up levels of debt so that whenever I did get paid, I had to use the bulk of that income paying somebody else rather than myself. I'm in a season in my life, and I've been in this season where I want to get rid of all my obligations as far as finances are concerned. This is why paying off my home is super important to me, because when I get paid, I don't want to have the obligation of having to pay anybody anything. Or at least as little as possible, because y'all know, as long as you live here in America, there's always going to be electricity. There's always going to be gas. But boy, oh boy, oh boy, am I so happy that I am now in the days of my life where I can actually pay them both with ease and with grace. Thank y'all. And I'm going to see y'all in the next video. Peace.